Hey all you cool cats and kittens, it's me, Jose. Just wanted to talk about my comic book collection. Comic book collections. Comic books are very important to me, and I try and get a lot of graphic novels. I also have a lot of books here too, and I'll maybe talk not long, but a little bit about them. But my comic book collections where a lot of my pride is. A lot of what I love about comics. If you look around in my room, there's a whole bunch of comic stuff. But yeah, let me start. The Dark Knight Returns, really good comic. This is like one of the big things that got me into collecting comics. This book, very good book. Has a great storyline with Batman, who's one of my favorite comic characters. And if you look in between, you can't get it right. I don't know if the camera's recording this, but there's Metamorphosis, which was a comic I read in school. I wasn't told to read it. I just took it. So there's Mouse 1 and Mouse 2. Great books. I highly recommend these books if you like really tragic real-life stories about the Holocaust. Watchmen. It's amazing. A lot of people have talked about Watchmen. It's great. Batman Dark Victory. This is a sequel to The Long Halloween, I believe. I read The Long Halloween, but I didn't get the physical copy, because it's like $3. So I just got this one because I was like, trying to remember what. Yeah, trying to remember how did I come into contact with this comic. Oh yeah, I bought it at the store. I just bought it. It was a pretty good comic. And I got this one when my parents went on a trip and didn't invite me. They gave it to me out of they wanted to get me a gift while they were out of the state. It was a pretty cool gift. A great comic. The reason why I got it, the reason why this is a great comic also is because I have Watchmen right here, and then Batman. And if you look, let's skip ahead a little bit. You got Flashpoint, the spine for Flashpoint, and these three comics connect. And I'm trying to get the DC Rebirth, special. Where it focuses on Wally West. Trying to get that one too to make it the trilogy complete, and probably Doomsday Clock. But yeah, V for Vendetta, great comic. Mr. Miracle, really great comic. Batman the Killing Joke. This is just gonna be me saying really great comics. Batman the Killing Joke, great too. This one I'm not a huge fan of. I like Spider-Man, but this Kraven the Last Hunt one, I was kind of a little bit disappointed because, you hear it's a really great comic, but it has really great art. But, the actual story is really, really confusing. Because it's not unlike a lot of Spider-Man graphic novels. It sort of just jumps into an already established series, so there's a lot of lore that you kind of don't understand. It's not one of those comics that you just pick up and read, which is what I'm saying. You have to pick it up, read a Wikipedia article, and then read it. So yeah, Infinity Gauntlet here. Batman Year One, great. Luthor, great. I was thinking about getting the Joker and Luthor so I can have them connect, because they're two of my favorite superhero villains. No, super villains. They're one of my favorite super villains in comics. I haven't read these two yet, but I'm very excited to actually jump into them. I have some books here that I haven't read. So I got 1, 2, 3 of Harry Potter, obviously, and 4. I got my books here. I'll talk about the books a little bit later. Batman Black Mirror. Great comic, Batman Black Mirror. It's about Batman, but what if Batman was Dick Grayson, who is Robin, and great comic for that. Batman Earth 1, great comic. Spider-Man Life Story, one of my favorite Spider-Man graphic novels, probably even one of my favorite graphic novels, period, is Spider-Man Life Story. You go into it thinking it's going to be like a boring, depressing Spider-Man story, but it actually really is a celebration of Spider-Man, more akin to Batman Dark Knight Returns, Superman Red Sun, great comic. I managed to read it in a day. like most of these comics. Batman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Batman slash Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I really like the art of the comic. Freddie Williams, the second, he's really, really great at drawing like a cartoonish version of Ninja Turtles while also staying serious to what Batman represents. Flashpoint, already talked about that. Ultimate Spider-Man 1 and 3, volumes 1 and 3. The reason why I got these is because I don't like to collect a lot of series, because it's a series, and there's a lot of series where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 through 100, and Ultimate Spider-Man, it's 1 through 22. But I got 1 through 3, and 4, 2 I'll probably get, but I love Ultimate Spider-Man. I read the entire thing on Marvel Unlimited. Great comic, honestly. Highly recommend it. I can't recommend it enough. Everyone I talk to, when they talk to me about comics, I recommend this series, because it's great. Moon Knight, great character. I tried getting the Moon Knight, what was it? Moon Knight The Bottom, which is a great Moon Knight comic. A lot of Moon Knight fans talk about it, but it's like $60. This one I got for $10 at a comic book store in Universal Studios, actually. Universal Studios, Orlando. And, the cover really stood out to me, because, I'm very into Moon Knight. And I've seen this cover before, and I love the cover of, like, Moon Knight in the let me get it out so you see it for reference. Moon Knight in sort of like a prison outfit, very cool looking. Immediately sticks out to you in the comic book store. Batman vs. Superman, great comic. Well, it's not a comic, it's more of a collection of Batman vs. Superman fights, but still, it's great. Spider-Man Most Wanted. Oh, sorry, Spider-Gwen Most Wanted, sorry. I saw Spider and I immediately went to man. That says a lot about me. I'm just a horrible, horrible person. So Spider-Gwen Most Wanted. Great comic. This is Zero. I got it, Zoe, my sister. I got it for myself and also for my little sister so she can read it, because, she's very into Spider-Gwen. But turned out she can't read. So I got my issues here. I would start talking about them, but as soon as I start talking about them, it would be nighttime, essentially. So let me not start. These two aren't really comics. This is a comic. This is a book called The Film Experience, and this is a exhibition sort of the Comic Con New York guide that I got when I was at Comic Con New York, and very funny enough, a week after, so. This is going to require a little bit of backstory. But Batman Damned, which is a comic I haven't read, but I really do want to read, came out. And it was very controversial. And everyone who's into comic books knows Batman Damned, because it came out very recently, like I think last year. And it was about Batman and, like Constantine. But one of the big things from it is that it showed Batman's, let's say, manhood. It showed his manhood. And it was very controversial, because people were like, oh my goodness, why would you do this in a comic? And they pulled that issue and they put it in like a black box. But I was like, oh my goodness, it's so weird. And then as soon as I go into Comic-Con, the first thing they hand me is this comic book spine. New York Comic-Con 2018 program guide. And as soon as I pull it out, what do I see? None other than Batman Damned. The exact issue where Batman shows his manhood. I do a cough every time because I'm insecure about my own manhood. Anyway, so DC Comics. This is like a thing my sister got me for Christmas, I believe. Was it Christmas? I'm pretty sure it was Christmas. And it's sort of a fan handbook to show you everything DC Comics related, Amazing Spider-Man, my sister also got me this. She went to a comic book store in New York. No, not New York. Manhattan. She's still in New York, but Manhattan. She went into a comic book store in Manhattan and got this for me. And I told her I read it and I thought it was kind of boring, but she understood. She understood that I still appreciated the gift. You know, it was a good. It was a good. You know, it was a good gift. You know, 600 pages, but I read it all in about 2 days because I had nothing to do. Batman Beyond. You know, it's a good Batman Beyond, good comic. You know, Kingdom Come. Now, Kingdom Come. Anytime I show people my comic book collection, which is not very often, I showed them this comic, Kingdom Come, because the artwork by, who is the artist? Hold on, I always remember his name. All I need is his last name, and then, well, Alex Ross. Alex Ross did this Kingdom Come comic. And Alex Ross, famous art worker, he also did Marvels, and I'm thinking about getting that for this collection too. And Marvels is like the same sort of artwork, but reimagined in the Marvel universe. And it's a really good artwork, you know. And I'm thinking about maybe getting a picture or a poster of Alex Ross's picture Moon Knight. You know, if you've ever seen it, any Moon Knight fan loves that piece of artwork because it's amazing. And then you got Green Arrow Year One. Great comic. This is the only comic in all of these comics that I got my sister to read. Great comic. She's into the Green Arrow TV show, so she read it and she liked it. But she could have just told me that to get me away from all this. And then boom, 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 all these books. Then I got this. Bone 1 through 9. These are a series of kids' books that I got from my little sister. The other little sister, not the one who likes Spider-Man. The other little sister who can read. And she read all these. And, you know, she loved it. She said it was real great. She, you know, and I hope that she'll maybe get into comics the same way I do. Ugh. So, 1 through 9. I'm on 7. I'm going to read 8 and 9 later on today. So maybe I'll finish it up and, see what I think of the whole series. So, yeah. Then, if we go down, we got all these books. Then we go here. X-Men. Yeah, X-Men, God Loves, Man Kills. The only X-Men graphic novel I believe I have here. Not the only X-Men comic I have, because I do have an X-Men comic of Kitty Pryde and Colossus' wedding. Is it Colossus? Yes, Colossus' wedding. I'm not a huge X-Men fan. I can't remember all their names by heart. But X-Men, Colossus and Kitty Pryde's wedding, which I think was only really, as a comic book fan, I'm pretty sure it was only really done so they could copy Batman and Catwoman's wedding. But if anyone who read comics knows how that ends up. So, yeah. Miss Marvel, No Normal. This is a really great comic. This is actually one of the very early comics I got. And I put it up here at the top, but I moved it so I can, you know, like, make space at the top because I'm already squishing a lot of the comics there. Not really squishing, you know, but... So, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Great comic about sort of taking the characters we know and love, like The Invisible Man, you know, like The Invisible Man, Quartermain, Jekyll and Hyde, you know, all these characters, you know, making them into like sort of a superhero team like the Avengers or something like that. So The Sandman, great Neil Gaiman comic. All-Star Superman, one of my favorite Superman comics, and this one actually persuaded me into getting what I have here, Superman Birthright, you know. And then there's Avengers Initiative, which I just picked up because I had it in my school, you know, and I thought, why don't I just take this? No one's going to read it. No one in my school reads comics whatsoever. It's only me. So yeah, Superman Rebirth. The Flash Rebirth. I got Superman Birthright, Rebirth. I got them confused because my mind, it's not as good as it was back in my youth. It's fading. Oh my goodness. Where's my caretaker? He can get my wheelchair, sir. So yeah. Batman Arkham Asylum. Flash Rebirth were great comics. Sort of Jeff Johns' take on the Flash. I'm not a huge Jeff Johns fan. I'm more of a not Zack Snyder, Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder. I always confuse those two because they have the same last name, so they must be brothers. They're not brothers. Batman Arkham Asylum. My problem with this comic is that I read it and it's just such a confusing mess. There is the backstory that sort of explains some of it, but